Have you ever stopped to think about the fans behind a band? What is it about the music that keeps fans coming back for more? Or is there more? My name is Renae Lipsmeyer, and I am the host of this podcast, The Space Between Podcast, the podcast where we talk about the fans of the Dave Matthews Band. Each week, a fellow DMB fan joins the show to discuss their journey with the band. Welcome to the Space Between Podcast. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Space Between Podcast, the podcast where we talk about the fans of my favorite band. And I'm going to guess that if you're listening to this podcast, it's probably up there for you too, the Dave Matthews Band. And so they have been performing and putting out music for over 30 years. So each week, that is what I do. I bring on a guest to talk about their journey with this band that we do love so much. And so, of course, today is like every other day. I have a guest and I'm going to let him introduce himself. Tell us who you are, where in the world do you live, and then I have a few questions about the Dave Matthews Band. Have you heard of this Dave Matthews Band?
You know, I think I heard something. I believe they're from one of the Virginias around there.
Something like that.
Yeah, just a little bit. I have accidentally gone to about 40 of their shows.
Accidentally.
So
Yeah.
I'm low number, but I'm working on it.
Who in the world are you, sir?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. My name is Trey. I live in Indiana. I'm about 45 minutes from Deer Creek, so we all love Deer Creek, our Hoosiers in Indiana. We love the DMB. But, out in Indiana, it's warm today for the first day in forever, and
God, aren't you glad?
Tomorrow, so
I know, right? I feel like the weather here, I live in Arkansas, and so the weather is just like, you have to almost just get up and watch the news because it could be cold, it could be hot, it could be a tornado. Hell, you never know. It could be an earthquake. There was just an earthquake in like New Jersey, and I don't think that's normal. Did you hear about that?
I did, yeah. But I also saw a lot of TikToks about people making it like it wasn't a big earthquake, so who knows?
I think who knows? I mean, I feel like any earthquake is too big for me, right? Like I don't want any part of it.
Never been in one, so
no, I haven't. I mean, and I don't think for the most part we live. They say that Arkansas is like on a fault line, but I hope to never see what that could produce. But living in the Midwest, we have tornadoes, and I know that people that live on the coast would be like, hell no, we don't want to be part of a tornado. I mean, that's scary shit for real too.
Yeah, they get like tsunamis and stuff. And then, there's one hit my town. I forget the last one we had, but yeah, it tore down like the Starbucks near our mall.
Oh shit!
Yeah, lots of fun.
Yeah, well, you know what? That is just such doomsday shit. Let's talk about something that is making people happy, has been making people happy for forever. I mean, basically, I feel like my whole life. Does it feel that way for you?
Considering it's been longer than my life.
Yeah. Okay, so just so the audience knows, like, how old are you? Because that does kind of set the tone of like, were you around when the band was concepted? Okay, so how old are you?
I am 27. I was
awesome.
Born in 96, so they were already going before I was born.
Yeah.
And I didn't get to start knowing them until about 2012.
How in the world did you find them?
My best friend's dad growing up.
Yeah?
He was, he was a big-time warehouse guy. Always camped out at Deer Creek for the weekend and just played Dave Matthews all the time. He owned rental houses, so growing up, me and my best friend would help him work on those, and it was just Dave Matthews day to night, and I hated it at first.
You hated it. Okay, that was going to be my question. But what made you turn around and start to like them?
So it's weird because it really wasn't even anything to do with the music at first, which I guess kind of goes with your story, the people.
Yeah.
So my best friend, his sister, had a baby, and we were a couple years after Grugruck's King, which I didn't know anything about that yet, coming out. And anytime he was in the car, he would always play the Woof Woof song, and they would always play Alligator Pie because the studio opens with the barking.
Oh, that's so
and
funny.
I was like, this is terrible. Like, that was kind of where I was okay listening to it more.
Yeah.
And then I think it was probably Going into New Year's 2012, maybe, we were helping him. I remember we got to like tear down walls in a house, so we were all excited. And he went and got us, we got milkshakes. I remember I got a strawberry milkshake, and we drove out east in the country till New Year's. The clock hit midnight, and it was just playing Dave Matthews. And then I was like, maybe I like this a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my God. So that was what you said, 2000, what year would that have been?
It had to be 2013, I think.
Okay. 2013. I'm just trying to get like an idea of what the band looked like, because and these are questions I have for you. So coming in when you did, which there is no wrong time, I think, to come in to find the band. I think people that find the band today are going to have a great time. People that found the band in 91 had a great time. I don't think there was a wrong time to find the band, but what do you think about the evolution, and have you kind of dug into the band? Like, okay, let's see what they did sound like in 91.
Oh yeah. And wasn't alive then, but
right.
Now listening to young Dave, I was kind of, I don't know if I would have liked this at the time.
Right.
Not that Dave sounded bad, but young Dave's voice was
it's different,
a little higher.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And it was just like, I don't know. But then I hear like Leroy play or something on old live tracks, and I'm like, okay, how could you have not liked this?
For sure. There's so many great parts to each, I guess, version. I don't know if that's the right word, but like progression, like change, whatever, of the band. I mean, 30 years is a really long time. What else are you into music wise? Like what else has your ears when it's not the Dave Matthews Band?
I will listen to anything really. Before Dave, I was a 2000s hip hop kid, so
yeah,
I was always playing that. Now as I get into my old age, I've just been more laid back. Live in the Midwest, but not super big on country. But like Luke Combs, I'll listen to some country.
Yeah.
And then also thanks to Dave, Mount Joy. I've been listening to them.
Oh yeah.
Since that Gorge, they came out open for them. They're really good. Just in Mexico, the Lone Bellow, when they had them come out and play.
Yeah.
Been listening to them some more. Oh yeah. So I kind of at this point, it's like whatever Dave gives for me to listen to, I go off on that tangent.
He's your guide. He's like your music guide. He says, here's this new band. And if you're listening to this and you're like, how does Dave recommend music? Well, there are some venues that, Dave Matthews Band plays at, but then Dave and Tim separately, or maybe even just, other ways, but they have openers, right? Like any other concert would have, which on a normal tour, the Dave Matthews Band doesn't have an opener. And so this is why this kind of stands out. And so obviously we like to think that the Dave Matthews Band has a hand in who is picked for those, openings. So of course the Gorge is one of those big venues. Since it's a 3-day concert, music starts early, and you can be introduced to a lot of bands that the Dave Matthews Band pushes. And so that's, Mexico was one of those that there were openers. That is, I want to talk about Mexico for just a minute, because that was the first time I got to actually meet you in person. And I mean, I can't think of a better place to have met. It was fun. What was your experience like in Mexico to see Dave and Tim?
It was, everyone at work, if you ask anyone at work, they'll say I haven't been the same since I got back. I've just seemed like in a sadness. And I'm like, maybe it's just because my heart wants to go back to Mexico.
Right. It's so nice.
It was amazing. From just the staff, all the people, everyone was so nice. To just, luxury, getting treated like a king. I never had turn down service in a hotel.
Right.
Resort, so
get chocolates on your pillow.
It scared us when we got back from our trip, because it was like, who was in our room? I'm not used to this. But no, it snowed back home while I was there, so I didn't miss that.
It was the perfect time to leave.
The people, the weather, the food, the drinks. It was
really great. It was really great. Yeah. So, of course, in Mexico, oh God, can you remember? I'm not good on the spot. Who was it that we had? Of course, who was it that played before Dave and Tim on those 3 nights?
So
Guest
Friday was Mavis Staples.
Oh, she was so fun to watch.
The Queen of Cancun. Yeah.
So fun to watch. Her personality was just as big as her voice. Like, I loved just watching her. Watch her kiss Dave on the lips, I believe.
Yep.
She didn't care. She was like, I'm 70. No. What's he going to do? Who else did we have? So we had Mavis.
We had Mavis, and then we had the Lone Bellow.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah.
And then, did we get anyone Sunday?
Hell, I don't even know. Who was the big name that opened Thursday night? Jason Isbell. Yeah, honestly, I didn't know much about him, but what a great time to get to see him, because he is really good. I had just never been exposed to him, right? So he really is great, and I can see why the Dave Matthews Band chose to kind of have him alongside them. I mean, really, really good. And then, of course, they popped in to perform with Dave and Tim during our 3 days. And so, man, it was a great time. It was my first time in Mexico to see Dave and Tim. Was it yours too?
Yeah, it was my first.
Yeah, I mean, I want to try to do every venue one time. And so let's talk about traveling with the band, because that honestly is something that kind of sounds very, I have not met a lot of people outside of, the Dave Matthews Band world that have come to me that say that they travel for bands. I have met one lady that said she travels to see Pearl Jam. But never have I ever really met a lot of people that travel like the fans of the Dave Matthews Band. It's, and I think it's because the fans say, I'll say it, the Dave Matthews Band is appreciated almost more when you see them in person, right? Like, they give out this electric feel. And so that really entices people to go out on the road and see them, but then also just so many beautiful venues across the nation. And then, the people, right? The people that do travel, the spirit is contagious. And so tell us, like, where was your first show? And then why in the world are you traveling like to Mexico to see this band? Like, what is it about traveling that keeps you coming back for more, I guess?
I mean, you kind of nailed it. I've met some of the best Dave people I know from traveling. So my first show was Deer Creek 2014. My friend's dad, his friends bailed on him, and he had tickets. So, he's like, "You guys want to go to concert?" I said, "Absolutely."
Yes.
And my only vivid memory from that weekend is Dave coming out and opening Solo Beach Ball. And after the first song, I just kind of looked at him and was like, can they play tomorrow, right? Can I come tomorrow too? And he said, yeah, that's fine.
Awesome.
So that was 2014, 2015. It was just Deer Creek again. And then my 18th birthday was over Deer Creek weekend. And then that Monday I left to join the Army. So I was gone for a long time, missed a lot of shows, but had just kind of watched from Facebook and everything of the band. And I was just like, man, when I get home, I just got to see as much of these guys as possible. And then, so 2019, got to go to a couple shows. I got out of the Army in South Carolina. So 2019 came around and they played at Charlotte, and I said, I'm gonna go visit friends. I'm gonna go see them. We're gonna go see them. So, saw Deer Creek. Went to North Carolina just to visit with old friends that I already known. Went to Virginia the next night. That was my first time in the pit. Was Bristow 2019.
Awesome.
And I met great people there. The guy because I was still kind of in the military and law enforcement stuff at the time. So the guy I was next to, we kind of were talking the whole time, and we kind of told each other what we did. And his wife was like, "How do you always find somebody that is in law enforcement at these things?" So it just it was like that feeling. So after 2019, then we had COVID. And that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that was so much fun.
After the little bit of traveling I did, I was like, I got to see these guys more. I got to see them more.
Yeah.
So once we got to 2021, I was like, that's it. I'm going to, I'm still growing up. So, not the most financially stable, but I said, I'm going to do it. I'm going to spend the money, and I'm going to go see these guys. So 21, went to see the opener in Raleigh.
Oh God, yeah.
Oh yeah, with
that was a good one.
Third verse, Gray Street. That made everyone cry.
Saw a lot of people lose their shit on the third verse.
oh man, yeah, it was insane. And then ever since then, I've just been trying to travel as much as I can. I think I'm up to, man, how many states now? I have to look at my.
I think that's fun to track the states. I always joke, well, I don't think at this point it's a joke anymore. I'm dead serious, that the Dave Matthews Band is officially my travel agent. They come out with their schedule every year, and that dictates where me and possibly my family will be traveling to that year for vacation, right? That's what we're going to be using our PTO on. That's, where we're going in the summer. And I have never been failed. There's not one venue that I've ever been to that I was like, oh, this was a terrible experience. Are there ones that are, more beautiful, more historic than others? Of course there is. But every state in the United States has been just incredibly beautiful. I mean, Dave picks the best places. He really does. And so I've just enjoyed seeing our country. Yeah, there's the benefit of the band being there and meeting so many amazing people, but I've enjoyed, going to Pikes Peak in Colorado, going to a city that had horse races in New York, looking at cornfields in Indiana. I mean, there's so much that I don't have at home, right? And that's the same for you. Like every state is so different. Yeah. So it's just been a lot of fun and to learn about our country, because I think sometimes we forget, when we want to go on vacation, well, we have to leave the United States. Well, you don't have to. We've got a great country. It's a beautiful, beautiful country. So you know what? Let's stop here. I want to do something fun. So one of the new things that I'm doing as part of season 5 is I opened a Google voicemail, which I really kind of wanted to incorporate a way just for people to kind of call in. Like, I come from old school radio times where we could call into the radio and dedicate a song to whoever, right? And they would play a song. And also, like, you would wait by the radio to hit record so that you could get that song on tape that you've been chasing, right? Like, I come from that time frame. So I was like, wouldn't it be cool to throw something old school in this podcast? Because, we are talking about a band that is over 30 years old. So yeah. A lot of the fans, obviously there's a lot of fans that are younger, but there are probably more fans that are in their 40s and 50s and so on. And so I set up a voicemail, and so anyone can call in, and from time to time on social media, I'll throw out a topic like what Dave song can turn around your day, what favorite venue do you have? And so the number, if you're listening to this and you're like, hey, I'd love to give a shout out to my Idaho family, my California family, you can do that. Or you can say, hey, Renae, I'd love to see you incorporate this on your podcast. All you have to do is call this voicemail. It doesn't come to me. It literally goes straight to a Google voicemail. So there's no like weird, oh, am I going to have to talk to a stranger? No, it's just a voicemail. So 479-259-1630. And of course that's on socials. So let's listen to a couple of voicemails, and then I love to hear other people's thoughts and their perspective and so I thought that would give us some cool talking tips about why so many people continue to follow this band that is over 30 years, right? So thank you first of all so much for everyone doing this, because I have so many voicemails, which makes it really fun. It just makes my day. A lot of times I'll get these at work and I'll listen to them and they can just turn around my day. So thank you so much for all of you that have already done this. So, okay, let's go. Let's see what we got here. Hopefully, technology is not my forte, even though I have a podcast. I'm struggling. I'm learning. So I'm literally going to hold my phone up to the speaker and we're going to do it this way. So hopefully this works out. Okay. So, this is from Carol, and here we go.
Hi, this is Carol Driscoll, and the reason I keep coming back to see Dave Matthews Band is because every time you see them, you are always in awe. You never are bored. You never get tired. Every concert is better than the last. I've been saying that since 1999 when I saw my first show at Summerfest in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and I'll keep on saying it until the day I die. thank you, and hope I get played.
Hello, everybody. This is Dave Rich from the Eddie Casino Band out in Las Vegas. We're really excited to get this journey going, celebrating our music, our original music, on all platforms. We just released our first single over Labor Day weekend called Eddie Casino. If you're looking for new music, look out for our next single coming out to Spotify, YouTube, Instagram, Apple Music. These guys in the band are really excited to get started playing music for you all. If you like Tom Petty, Zach Brown, Jason Mraz, Dave Matthews Band, Rob Thomas, Jimmy Buffett, Pink Floyd, Stapleton, Bare Naked Ladies, Goose, Billy Strings, Sting and the Police, a ton of influences that we bring to the table. Hope you enjoy our music and look forward to seeing you soon live on stage.
Carol, thank you so much for... There's Carol again. Carol. So, it is, you're never bored at these shows. So let's talk about that. So if someone's listening to this podcast that has never been to a live show, which I like to always say that, a lot of people want to put different levels of fanhood in to how many shows have you been? And if you've been to however many shows, then, maybe you're a bigger fan. I love to preach that you can have gone to 0 shows and still be a really big fan of this band. And what a pleasure it is to be able to continue to get to see them live. But, she brings up a good, fact that going to these shows, you never see the same show twice, right? You could go back-to-back nights. They could literally sing the same songs. They don't. And you would get a different show because that's a jam band style, right? Like the extended versions, they just kind of get on stage and fill each other out. And I think half the time they don't know, and I think they've said this, they don't necessarily know exactly how it's going to go. They just get up there and they have fun with each other. Has that been your experience as far as going to shows that that's another hook, is not knowing what you'll get? And then of course there's all these deep tracks only, as people say. The famous Andy Bernard said that on The Office one day, deep tracks only. I love the chase of those deep tracks. And of course, with a band with over 30 years, they have such a catalog, right? Like they could pick different songs for many, many, many shows and never repeat. So tell me, is there a chase going on in your fanship? Are there songs that you are chasing? And then what do you think about how is it that they keep putting a different show on night after night?
Man, yeah, it's insane. Chase song wise, I'm gonna have to come up with a new one for this year.
What did you get? You got something.
Absolutely. So my biggest chasers for the longest time were Say Goodbye, always listen to just live versions. I need to hear it. I need to see it in person.
Yeah.
Dreaming Tree and Shotgun. Those are my biggest ones for the longest time. Oh, yeah. So Alpine, oh, man, that was 22. That's when I went to the Gorge, yeah. That I got that weekend, I got both Say Goodbye and Dreaming Tree.
That's awesome. Amazing. Then, that was 2 in 1.
Oh yeah. And
damn.
Then I'm counting the solo Shotgun in Mexico. So
that was so unexpected. I was not even thinking that would be a possibility in Mexico. No. But he did it, and he got all of us.
Oh yeah. So yeah, those were my personal chase songs. So I'm gonna have to come up with some.
Yeah,
I gotta come up with some new ones. It's gonna.
You've got a little time. You've got a little time. I think we're recording a little before this will air, but we are not far from the start of the summer tour, which this year in the United States, they start in beautiful Tampa, Florida. So, and then they're doing a few Florida shows after that, then to go to Texas. And I mean, they are hitting a lot of venues in the United States. And I mean, this is just right after they come off basically the road of Europe, traveling all of April, the very first part of May. These guys are on fire. How in the hell do they have the stamina to do all of this?
We'll never know.
I like to say good trainers, good chefs, feeding their bodies healthy, working out, like a good physician on board. Like, I think they're being taken care of well, because just the torment on your body from having to travel. I mean, like, we all know in our small amount of traveling that we do compared to rock stars, it's not the easiest life, not being at home. What if you just have a hankering for chicken noodle soup? Like, it's not just right there, and you can't just have it right then. So there's some challenges. Yes, there's some rewards and beautiful times, and I'm sure that they love it, especially now that the band feels so much love for each other, and they've said over and over that it feels like family, right? So there's the comfort in that, because God, how many times have you heard stories about bands where the band broke up because they just couldn't get along, right? Like, that's a very common story. And that's just not the story with these guys. They've said time and time again of how much they really just enjoy each other's company. So I think that really does help in their longevity, because, having to be that close to people that you really just did not like, I don't think anyone could do that. And especially because for the most part, I'd say I'm pretty sure that they're not in this for the financial gains. I think they're good financially after 30 years. Like, obviously, I don't know anyone's business, but like, I'd like to think that they're in it now just because they love it and they want to do it. It's not because they have to. And so, 2024 is almost here, the US tour. What are you looking forward to? And like, you've got just a few days to be thinking about like what it is that you're chasing this year.
I know. It's
the pressure is on. I'm in a buggy. I'm going to text you and go, do you got it yet? Do you got it yet?
I'll have to get it. I'll have to look back at all the Europe set list and see if they got anything magical.
Yeah.
They've been looking pretty good. So
Yeah. So do you have any places in mind that you're going to travel to this year? I mean, for me, it's a very non-travel year. I'm going to hit just a few, but like, what does this summer look like for you?
It started out as I was only going to do Deer Creek and recover from the Mexico spending. But no, I'm going to be going up to Alpine for that
that's
weekend.
Right. Yes.
Going over to Blossom. Haven't been there to Blossom yet, so that'll be a first for me. Pine Knob, and then back home to Deer Creek to finish off a good little.
What a great place to live. I mean, you really do. For when it comes to, I don't know much about your area in general. I've only been there to see the Dave Matthews Band, but what a great place to get to see them. And also, you guys always get a 2-night show, so to live close to that venue, it is such a win, because not only do they hit you once, they hit you twice. So it's just, man, and they come every year.
Yep.
What a great venue to live close to.
Yeah. Very lucky to have been born here. I thank my mom for that. We don't have much good stuff in Indiana, but we get a solid Deer Creek run. So
you've got a great supply of corn. I have seen it. I mean, if you've never been to Deer Creek, it's not, so we call it Deer Creek, but it is at the Ruoff. Is that what is it? Ruoff Music?
The Ruoff Music Center. But even I talked to a Ruoff employee actually, I think Thursday, and they were like, I still call it Deer Creek.
Deer Creek. So yeah. So it was named that once upon a time? Deer Creek, or is that?
Yeah, Deer Creek, long time ago. I don't even know the years it was, but we went from Deer Creek to, then Verizon bought it. We've had Verizon and other insurance. Then it was Klipsch. There we go. Kind of think of it for Klipsch Music Center for a while. Then Ruoff came over, and at first we had the Ruoff Home Mortgage Event Music Center. I think
it just falls off your tongue, like so easy.
Yeah. A year later, they were like, "We'll just go with Ruoff Music Center."
Ruoff, So I think a lot of because Dave and the boys have been playing there for so long. I'm gonna guess since it was called Deer Creek, pretty much the community still calls it Deer Creek. So when we say Deer Creek across the board, we're talking about Indiana, in a little town called Noblesville, Indiana. It's so cool. Again, they always get 2 nights, so it's more bang for your buck. Indiana is not a real expensive state to visit versus, if you're seeing the boys in New York City or in some of the pricier East Coast cities. This is a really affordable. You can fly into Indianapolis, and it's just a short drive from there. So it's really a great venue. You should try it once. And I go my first time, and I don't know what I thought I was going to, I don't even know that I put that much thought into it, honestly. But like I get there and of course you're like fields. Oh, there's the venue. And it's, there's fields all around. And I was like, are we going to see Dave and the boys in a cornfield? And they were like, yes, you are. And it was amazing. And I love it every time. I think, every year the boys love being there. The staff at the venue are always very kind, very welcoming. The community is welcoming of knowing that the Dave Matthews Band fans are coming. And so, what a great venue to live close to. But then also, if you're listening to this and you're like, I don't know where I want to go next, I encourage you to try Deer Creek. It's really awesome. And then, every other year for the last while, the Dave Matthews Band has been going to Wisconsin, which there is a venue there called Alpine. And it is a beautiful venue that you go to in the summer, but it's busier in the winter because it is a ski resort. So it is a beautiful, like hilly mountain resort. And it's one of my favorites. People love to head to Wisconsin. Is this your first trip to Alpine?
No, it's not. I went the first time. Me and my dad went in 2019. We did Farm Aid there.
Oh yeah.
And it's the first time I encountered the Alpine lawn.
Oof. Ooh, it's tough. It's the toughest. Ooh. Ooh.
And it rained all day. So, and that was made for a fun. People just sliding down the hill, bags sliding down the hill.
Yeah.
It was a good time, but the sound was so great that I knew I had to go back there. So,
yeah, it's great.
Yeah, 22, and then this year again.
Awesome. We wanted to go so bad, but our family vacation that we had already booked just didn't align with those dates. And so I'm sad, but I'm hopeful that in, let's see, it would be 2026. Yeah. That sounds so weird to even say, but hopefully the boys will be back and maybe I can go then. But hey, let's do another voicemail, and then I wanna pick your brain a little bit. One of the things we're gonna start doing in season 5 is Dave Matthews Band trivia, and the reason why, well, number one, I love trivia. I love that so many coffee shops and little places around are doing trivia nights now. I've always been a big fan of trivia. I think this is the first time I've said this on the podcast. I and 3 other that were on my team am a office trivia champion. But not only that, but I did it the trivia was with one of the actors from The Office. And so he was there. Part of my group had to act out a scene from The Office. And we won a trivia and got a trophy in our picture with him. And it was incredible. So I love trivia. So we're going to start doing Dave Matthews Band trivia on this show. We'll throw in a couple of questions every episode. I will read those out. We'll give our listeners a little bit of time to think about those. I've got some that are less challenging, some that are a little more challenging, but that is how this podcast kind of was born. I started a Dave Matthews Band trivia during COVID, and it has evolved into this podcast. So kind of just paying tribute to where in the world this crazy idea came from. And so let's listen to a voicemail right quick. Let's see who we can get here. Let's see. Ooh, which one's gonna be? I don't know. Okay, so this one is from Candy. So let's trying to figure out where the sound comes out.
Hi, Space Between Podcast. This is Candy Norman out of Dayton, Ohio. And somebody just recently asked me, why do you keep going? After 30 years and 60-some concerts, why do you keep going back? And I just gave them the simple answer of, why not? It makes me happy and it's fun. You know, you go to a concert with your family and your friends, and for that small amount of time, all the stressors that you have just melt away, and you're not worried about quotas and health issues and car issues and all the other stuff that just piles up. And then when the concert's over and 3 months down the road, you're listening to a playlist and you're like, man, I miss that song. That was a great one to hear when we were at Deer Creek. Or, man, it was so great when we were dancing, right on the rail with all of our friends. And it just brings you to a spot that only you can recognize, and you know that it's just pure love and fun and happiness that you're experiencing. So that's my why. Thanks.
What's up, everybody? This is David with the Dave Matthews Tribute Band. We're a nationally touring tribute to DMB, playing shows all over the country and beyond. Our goal is to bring you back to the classic sound that you fell in love with in the 90s and the 2000s, featuring a violin, saxophone, and maybe some keyboards sprinkled in as well. You can find out information about all of our tours and shows by visiting thedmtb.com. You can also check us out on Facebook and Instagram and other socials by searching the Dave Matthews Tribute Band or the DMTB. Hope to see you on the road and enjoy the Space Between podcast.
So what are you, I know Candy is a friend of the show, of course. So thanks, Candy, for calling in. She is hilarious, first of all. She is one of the funniest people that I've met when it comes to the Dave Matthews Band fans. She's great. She loves the band. So yeah, I think, that a lot of people, even of course, outside of the Dave Matthews Band, there's so many different kinds of music. And, in every kind of music, there's a following. And inside that following, those people are finding something in that music, whatever it is for them, because we can all find something out of the same piece of music, whether that is, distraction, something as simple as distraction, which can be really nice sometimes, right? Like, I know that we all need that time to just get our brains off of whatever it is that is going on in our life. Or maybe that music brings hope to you in a place where you just couldn't even find anything positive. You ever have those days where you're just like, I cannot think of one good thing that is happening right now? And of course there always is. We're all breathing, right? And so that's one good thing. But like, music has that ability to do a lot of different things. And so, if it's making you happy, if that's what you're getting out of it, is that you got 2 hours of just happiness where you could drop everything like Candy said, my God, what more of an excuse do you need? I mean, I've spent $30 on a Taco Bell before. I'm spending money on stupid things. So, spending money on concert tickets really isn't as small as a lot of people like to say that it is. It can be said that an investment in concert tickets is an investment in your mental health. I mean, does that sound wrong? Any words about that? Like, do you find any kind of feelings, whether you're listening to the music at home or whether you're in front of the band? Are there any feelings that you find with music?
All of them. It's like Candy said, you really do. You get to, let your worries fall away for a little bit while you're enjoying music, whatever band it is, whoever you like. But she couldn't be more right, especially in our world today and just the craziness and how expensive it is to live, and people are going through a lot right now, and
it's true.
So if you can get away at that concert with the band who brings you joy, and then like she said, anytime you're going through something, or even me in the car hearing DMB radio or something, I get to just, I was at that show, and takes you back, and you get to relive all those feelings, and you get to keep moving on and doing what you got to do because of some music.
Just because of some music. And music, we live in a time now, and I'm so thankful because, in my childhood, music wasn't as easy to access, right? Yes, there was the radio if you were lucky enough to have a radio in your house, right? Like we have to remember not everyone had those tools. But now, for the most part, I think a lot of people have access to music, free music, whether that is visiting your local library and getting on a public computer, or it's easy, sometimes just picking up your phone if you have a mobile phone. Music is so accessible now, and I'm so thankful for that because of the things that music can do for people. And I believe that it is a tool, and it is an art, and it can be used for good. And so I'm going to keep preaching the word of music. I'm never going to stop.
No, you shouldn't. I mean, it's.
I'm not gonna.
Mental health.
Can't stop, won't stop.
Yeah, exactly.
So let's laugh a little bit, okay? Shall we? I like to laugh. I like to be silly. If you've listened to this podcast, I probably am silly too much, but that's just who I am, and I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. So I have some trivia. Again, that's kind of how this podcast got its origin story, I suppose, is, during COVID, it was just that desire to still want to be around people when we lived in a world that just wasn't going to happen. And a lot of us didn't get to leave our homes. I unfortunately had a very different COVID story, being a nurse. And if you're interested in listening to that story, you can check back. There's a couple of times where I've kind of told why in the world I started this podcast. So in the middle of all of that, some great things came from COVID. One of those was the birth of this book here, which I'm going to show you how big of a nerd I am. I have my own DMB binder. It's all typed up. I literally keep it in my car when I'm traveling. This is total nerd level, but I'm okay with being that if that is what it's called. I'm a self-proclaimed Dave nerd. So I do have a typed up book of trivia questions that I've just gathered along the way. People have given me information, and I add it to the book. That is something that I'd love. If you have some fun trivia, I'd love for you to call the voicemail and say, hey, here's some trivia, and I can add it to my book. And if you will leave your name, obviously I'll give you a shout out on the show. So let's see. What is my number again? 479-259-1630. And again, that just goes straight to the voicemail, so you don't have to worry about talking to anyone or anything. Okay, so let's do some trivia. And again, this is no pressure. It's for no dollars and no cents. So you're not going to lose anything. You can gain some knowledge, and that's how we're going to look at it, okay? But we lose nothing.
Knowledge I can get.
Now, I have gathered this again from other fans. A lot of this was probably Wikipedia. It hasn't been fact-checked with a sit-down from the band. I'm waiting for that opportunity, but until it happens, some of this might be wrong. And again, if it is, just call and let me know. So, okay. Here we go. I'm gonna start. We're gonna go in slow, and then we'll gain some speed. So I'll read the question. We'll give just a little bit. So if you know the answer, let's just give a little bit of a pause so that anyone that's listening to this that's kind of thinking like, oh shit, I know that. Give them a little pause, and then we'll say what it is. Okay. The suspension.
I know. I'm feeling the judgment already. But in my defense,
so scary.
Since these haven't been fact checked, whatever I say is the correct answer.
So you're right on all of them.
No one can prove me wrong until you get to fact check them.
Oh my God. Okay. Well, I don't think you're gonna have any problems. I'm not gonna start out bad. I have so many. I'm just like looking through, going, okay, what should I?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's start with this. Well, okay. You want me to go really, really easy? Okay.
I am. You can ask my friends. I'm not good on the spot. My brain just.
No,
shuts
I know.
off.
I am too. And the only reason I know the answers again is because I have them in front of me. So, there's so many random ones in here. Some of them might be borderline creepy, but I don't care. Okay. You know what? Let's go, and I'm going to name a song. Do you feel like if I name a song, you could probably tell me what album it's on?
Oh, I can try. I'll definitely try. The good thing about Dave and all the live music is,
this would be challenging. I don't think I could do it, honestly. Like, my brain is not that quick. And once you told me, I'd be like, okay, yeah, I can see that, but like, I can't see it before that. Okay, so which Dave Matthews Band album features the song Lover Lay Down? So this is going to be an album that the song Lover Lay Down is on. I really would not know this just off the top of my head.
I see. I'm gonna.
You can Google it. I won't even tell anyone.
Yeah, no, I'm not gonna Google it. I'm not gonna Google it because I can. Okay. I got my answer. Whenever.
Okay, guys. So this was, what album is the song Lover Lay Down on? What you got for me?
Crash.
You are right. See, you are nailing it. You got it. Okay. Question number 2. Well, okay, we're going to go in the same direction. Which Dave Matthews Band album featured the song Hunger for the Great Light? This album cover has a fire dancer on it.
That's what I was thinking.
Yes, sir. Stand up.
Yeah.
Stand up. I like that song. It gets in your head.
I feel like one of the more, maybe less favorite albums.
You know what? I love that album. I love every album because there is at least one amazing song on each one. Yeah. And when someone, I don't think I could weigh songs. I don't necessarily like the question, what's your favorite song? I try to never ask that because that is an incredibly hard, and I don't think I have an answer for it because that can shift from minute to minute. What's your favorite album? Again, that's really tough too because I see so many wonderful parts in each album. But for right now, I'm really into Busted Stuff. I love that album. I think it's amazing. I think that it is not talked about enough. I really love it. Obviously, that's the album where a lot of the Lily White songs came on to. I think it's such a great album. I love it. So that's what I'm going to stand by now.
Hoping to keep Busted Stuff around this year.
Yeah, I like that song. And I love how they have just, you never know what you're going to get with this band, right? Like, they came out in 2023. And of course, that year, in case you don't know, that year, they had also just put out a new album, which is their latest album. And you would think, just the average Joe here thinking about the Dave Matthews Band tour would have thought that 2023 is going to be a heavy new album tour where they're going to push the album. What did they open with? Not a new album. I mean, they took it back, right? They took it back and they continued to do that all of 2023. It's like you thought you were going to get this, but here's what we're going to give you. And it was such a beautiful combination of really old school stuff that had not been out in a while that really kind of set some people's minds and ears on fire. The internet blew up during some of those shows. And then they happily just wrapped in some of their new music and the placement was perfect. I don't think that they overdid any song. That's my opinion. I know because I hear people say all the time, like, if they play this goddamn song one more time, I'm like, well, don't go to 52 concerts unless you want to hear that song because they just got to, they have to, and that's the way it works. But they cease to amaze me. So let's do one more. Let's see. I'm gonna go a little bit tough on you. Don't get nervous. And then I can't thank you enough before we go into this last question. I can't thank you enough for just supporting what the podcast is doing, the story that I'm continuing to try to tell. And I do want to mention that your fanhood has evolved in such a way. I know that you're very present in a lot of the community groups that are on Facebook. So talk a little bit about, like, how in the world did you get involved in the groups and what are those groups? So if people are listening to this and they're like, what is he talking about? What they can find if they're part of those groups.
Yeah. So the groups, it kind of started out of nowhere with 2021 and going to the opener in Raleigh. There was a there was, because I was going by myself. I was like, I'm not gonna have anybody there. Let's find some stuff to do.
Yeah.
And there was a Raleigh group page that a woman named Brooke started, and it was just all to prepare for the big opener. And we all everyone was posting there, all excited, and it kind of went from just that one show group to became a tour group, and now going on the next year. So every year we're just kind of a permanent page now. And then after would have been this maybe around last year, some people I'd met at the Gorge they knew Brooke and knew her page, and she got with me and said, hey, you want to come be an admin on our page? And I said, sure, absolutely. Get to just do more stuff about Dave and talk to people about Dave Matthews. Absolutely. But yeah, that one is gotta make sure I get the full name, because
get it right.
There's gonna be an imposter page somewhere.
There is. You gotta watch out for that on Facebook.
Yeah, the scammer pages are rough this year. All right, so DMB 2024 tour group. And then,
so that's the name of the group. People can find it on Facebook if you're on Facebook.
Look for something legit. The scammers are out there. They have their scammer pages now. So. And
you have quite the following. I mean, there's thousands of people that follow this page. This is a great page to not only get cool information about the band, but then events that may be happening as we get closer to the U.S. tour. A lot of people sharing valuable information there. So it's really the hub of where you can go to get fan information when it comes to the tour. Is that right?
Oh yeah. I mean, Ridge is in there. I saw his name on your post earlier. Yeah. Good old Ridge. I finally got to meet him at Farm Aid when it was here in Deer Creek. First time I actually got to sit and talk with him. So, now we talk now, and yeah, Ridge post in there, so any meetups you'll find, if you see Ridge's name on it, you're good to go.
Yes.
It's going to be a good time.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of Facebook groups out there. And like we said just a minute ago, you got to be careful though, because of course with anything, there's the scammers trying to sell you the tickets for this upcoming show, especially as the anticipation grows. The scammers will be out there trying to sell you that ticket that you want, but you're going to overpay for and never get. So just be really careful. These groups do a good job of trying to point traffic as far as ticket traffic, go to these particular pages. I know that like on the Space Between, I don't do ticket sales. Is that something that you guys do on the tour group?
No ticket sales. Kind of, like you were saying, the scam and stuff. There's some good groups out there, and we can, they'll get directed to those groups, but as far as our page in itself, no selling tickets, no Girl Scout cookies, no nothing. We're there to talk about the band and, just prevent that whole mess of issues that comes with trying to sell stuff.
Yeah, it can just be sticky. It can be sticky, but thank you so much for, allowing the Space Between to be part of that. And, ultimately what I'm doing is trying to connect with the fans. Obviously, I'm not out to interview the band. That's not the way I'm going. I'm really after the fans of the band and what their story is. So thank you for letting me share things on that page in order to collect more stories, because again, this podcast does not work if people are not willing to tell their journey. Each week I have someone on to talk about how they found Dave Matthews Band, and so we always need more people to come and be willing to share. So if you are, just hit me up on any of the social medias. You can call that voicemail number and say, hey, I'd love to be on your show to tell my journey. It's 479-259-1630. Now, I know that you were really nervous going into this, and maybe you still are, and that's cool. Like, I understand that there's a little bit of weirdness when it comes to like being in a Zoom meeting, if you will, with someone that but like don't know, and then she's going to ask you questions, and then oh my God, now there's trivia. So like for someone that may be listening to this that is thinking about sharing, but they're a little apprehensive about asking, I mean, you don't have to paint a beautiful picture, but like, was it easier than what you thought it was going to be as far as this process?
Oh yeah. My biggest fear, and it still remains, is once we finish and I go to listen to it and I have to hear myself talk.
Oh, dude, I can tell you now, you're going to hate it. I have 100 episodes to prove that I hate my voice. Like every time I'm just like, you don't know how many times I've wanted to delete like episodes 20 through 30 because I'm just like, that's shit. I sound awful. Like, what the fuck? Why am I doing it? So I think it's normal for people to not like what they sound like. I haven't met a person yet that was like, you know what? I sounded so amazing. Like, it's not going to happen, but I think that you did a great job. I mean, what you're doing. And here's the deal. I think when you talk about something that you're passionate about, that you really love and that you're chasing after, which is what you're doing with this band, you're really tuned in to what's happening with the fans behind the Dave Matthews Band. And so I think when you're talking about really comfortable things, then it just makes it easier. So thank you for being brave and coming on the show and telling your story. I love your story because again, you found the band. I feel like you found the band early in your life. You said you're 27. I think, I think that you must be very mature because I think that the Dave Matthews Band it can be such a fun party band, but there are some of their songs that are so complex and so deep and so hard to understand. And so, it will give you years and years of things to dive into. So get ready. I think even if we only have, 5 years left with the band, you have so much history behind this band that you can dig into for years to come. So I'm glad that you found the band. I think you're a fan for life. I think so. After you commit to go to all these shows and you show up in Mexico, I think you're you're in it. I don't think you're coming out.
No, there's no hope.
There's no hope for you to get out.
None of my friends can schedule life events around Dave Matthews Summer Tour. They all know that at this point, so we're good.
Yeah, no, at least they know, right? So, okay, so let's close out this episode. We're going to do one more. Let's see. So much good ones. I do want to say, though, if you're listening to this in season 5, definitely be sure to get hooked up with all of us on socials. That's where you're going to get the most information. The Space Between Podcast is available on Facebook. It's a group, the Space Between Podcast. On Instagram, it's the Space Between _POD. And then on TikTok, where I've just had so much fun making stupid like memes or videos. Like I've had the most fun making them. So be sure to follow. It's just the Space Between Podcast on TikTok. Okay, so I am going to read some song lyrics again, and I think you can guess the song. How about that?
I should be able to.
We'll start easy. Okay. Sitting, smoking, feeling high. In this moment, it feels so right.
It's the easy one, I got to say, because of my patented soda shirt I have for this of good old Crush. And everyone's saying yeah at the wrong time, but
You are right. Okay, one more. I think you've got this one. I think you've got this. Okay. I dream myself 1,000 times around the world, but I can't get out of this place.
My number one most heard song, the one I can actually play on guitar, let's go Gray Street.
Gray Street. You got it. So you play the guitar just a little. Is that right?
Less than a little bit.
Less than a little. You enjoy playing the guitar. We'll say that. You do?
Yeah, it's I bought one because I wanted to learn after seeing Dave so much, and
sure.
I quickly found out how hard it is, and if you don't actually take beginner lessons and you just get on YouTube and try to play Dave, you're gonna have a very hard time trying to learn. But
you might,
it's fun.
Yeah, I mean, I say stay at it. It does take practice. I know, God, it's hard. It's rare for anyone to pick up an instrument and just be able to figure it out. So invest that time in it. I mean, what a cool skill to have. I wish that I could play any instrument. I think I've nailed down the tambourine, and that's as far as I've gotten.
That's pretty solid.
No, I mean, I have no skill trained. I just think I do.
Yeah, no. The band may need a tambourine player one day.
Come on, I will stand in the back. I mean, I will do whatever. I secretly wish that I could. Now I'm going to say this, and I understand what I'm saying before I say it. I wish that no one could hear me and that I could stand at a concert and with that tambourine. That would be so much fun, but I would never bring it in. I don't think it's allowed, number one. And number two, I would never be that disrespectful. But like if I'm at a concert at home or something and nobody gives a shit, then yeah, I got the tambourine, I got the finger cymbals, I got something. I've mastered those easy. But a guitar is hard. I mean, it is not an instrument that's easy. So keep going. You'll get it. And then when you've got a song down, I invite you to come back on the show and maybe play something for us. When you're comfortable.
Yeah, we'll have to get like Josh Santiago to fill in for me. We can get him to come. I'll have him play some live. Or, we can find Alex, just post some monkeys on a string and that'll have to work for that'll be a while before I can play something.
Well, you know what? Hopefully the podcast will be around for a while. So, thank you again so much for being on this show. And guys, be sure again to stay active on socials. That's where you're going to see things. We've got some really fun stuff coming up. Of course, the tour is just about to start in Tampa, Florida. And so the Space Between will be in Tampa. I'll also be in West Palm Beach, Houston, and Dallas. So I'll be hosting events at each of those cities. So be sure to check out the Night Zero. Me and Ridge, we're just going to take over the town that night.
Oh, yeah, that's going to be I said, if Ridge is setting something up,
I'm going in with Ridge. I'm doing Tampa with him and West Palm Beach. So they're going to be great. Rob will be there playing, Rob Messina. And so I'm really excited that we'll have a great turnout and that we'll get to meet a lot of other fans that, again, love this band that we love so much, the Dave Matthews Band, right?
It's someone got me this the other day, and so I don't want to disrespect any religions, but the good old
oh my God, I love that. Candle. Yeah, that's great. That's great.
So that sits there. So yeah, that's going to be a fun time in Florida. My dad was wanting to go to West Palm Beach so bad this year, and I was just like, I can't make it happen.
I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot. All of it's a lot, but you're hitting some great shows. So I hope you'll come back on the show and talk about, what 2024 was like for you. It's always fun to recap the year after it's over. But in the meantime, I hope that you just have so much fun traveling and meeting new people. And I just hope you have the best year listening to this band.
Oh, it's every year I get to do it. It's going to be the best year for
That's right. That's right.
Oh, yeah.
Well, dude, thank you so much for being on, guys. Stay tuned. Every week we have a different guest on the show to talk about their journey with the Dave Matthews Band. So definitely stay tuned. And in the meantime, I wish everyone peace, love, and Dave Matthews Band. Thank you so much.